Thanks to modern technology, a large amount of the world's population has access to means for education and creation. Used for the right reasons, such as recreation, learning, productivity, and finding and maintaining community, these tools can contribute a lot in our lives. Let's look at the amazing tools we have in our pockets and what we can add to improve their capabilities. The progress our daily tech has been through since the first real computer up to now is unreal. It is easy to get stuck on the negatives of having so much power readily available for people who don't know how to wield it. Evil misuse and victimization by addiction as a result. For those with a higher stat in wisdom, who can wield the tool as it is intended, there is a lot to gain by mastering it and the craft to get the most out of it. Creation is a means to grow and develop as a sentient, feeling, and connected being, and one of the most rewarding ways of elevating yourself. No matter the reason you would choose to start creating or what you choose to create, the process of creation activates so many different areas of your brain, engages so many of your attributes, and connects so many abilities that you can't afford to not pursue this, either spiritually or financially in these pressing times. Video creation is a medium that demands attention to areas such as sound, image, location, light, colors, composition, focus, and scripting. It is divided in workflows of pre-production, production, and post-production, as well as having aspects of technicality and artistry. The video-centric story is told in three phases. Firstly, told in the script, the pre-production. Then the story is interpreted when filmed in the production. And lastly, it is put together when edited in post-production. Social media dominates global media consumption, both in time spent and user engagement. Here's how it stacks up against other mediums. The average daily time spent is for social media approximately 2 hours and 23 minutes per day globally. TV, including broadcast and streaming, 2 hours per day, varies by region. Online news and articles, 1 hour per day. Radio and podcasts, approximately 30 to 60 minutes per day. And print media, including newspaper, magazines, and such, less than 20 minutes per day. The global reach is, for social media users, over 5.32 billion in 2025. That's around 64% of the world's population. Internet users, 5.35 billion approximately. TV viewers, 4.5 billion. Radio listeners, 3 billion. Print media readers, declining steadily, especially among younger demographics. The share of online time is as follows. Social media accounts for 35.8% of total online activity. Video platforms like YouTube and TikTok also contribute heavily, often categorized separately but overlapping with social media. Why does social media lead? Instant access to news, entertainment, and social interaction might do it. Mobile first usage. 98% of social media time is on mobile devices. Personalized content feeds and algorithm driven engagement. Apparently, TikTok users now spend over an hour per day on the app alone, making it the most time consuming platform per user. About our devices, smartphone popularity varies widely by region, shaped by local preferences, economical factors, and brand presence. A snapshot of the most popular smartphones across key markets in 2025 is: in the United States, you have top brand being Apple with the 58 to 61% market share. Popular models are the iPhone 15, 16 Pro, 16 Pro Max. Runner-up is Samsung with approximately 23%, with Galaxy S24, 25 I guess now, and A15 5G. In Europe, you have top brands being Samsung with 34%, Apple in close second in 26%, Xiaomi 16%. Some popular models are iPhone 16 Pro, Pro Max in Germany and the United Kingdom, Galaxy S24 25 series in France and Italy, and the Xiaomi Redmi 13C being one of the most common models in Spain and Greece. If we look at China, the top models being iPhone 16 Pro Max, Honor X50, Oppo A3X, and Vivo Y37. The domestic brands like Honor, Oppo, and Vivo dominate alongside Apple. In India, we have the top models being Redmi 13C 5G, Pocophone M6 5G, Vivo T3 Lite 5G, and Samsung Galaxy S23 FE. Also iPhone 15. Top brands being Xiaomi, Vivo, and Samsung. In Japan, the top models being iPhone 14, 15, 16, and 16 Pro, Google Pixel 8a. So Apple holds 70% market share, making Japan one of its strongest markets. In South Korea, the top models being Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 6, Galaxy S24, Galaxy A15 5G, also the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Samsung dominates with over 67% market share domestically. If we look at Asia overall, top brands being Apple with 18.3%, Samsung with 16.4%, Xiaomi with 14.2%, Vivo and Oppo. The trends we see are budget-friendly brands like Xiaomi and Oppo thriving in emerging markets. Apple leads in affluent regions like Japan and South Korea. If we pivot to common resolutions for cinema films, today the most common resolution is 2K, which is 2048 times 1080 pixels. This resolution has long been the standard for digital cinema projection and is still widely used for theatrical releases. Other common cinema resolutions are 4K, 1496 times 2160 pixels, increasingly popular for high-budget productions and IMAX screenings. 8K 7680 times 4320 pixels. It's rare, mostly experimental or used in ultra premium formats. We also have IMAX Digital, typically uses a custom resolution, but often close to 4K or higher depending on the format. If we look at aspect ratios often paired with these resolutions, common use is standard widescreen. In most feature films, we have anamorphic widescreen. For epic dramas and action films, we have IMAX immersive experiences. We also have Ultra Panavision. It's rare, used in select historical epics. Why is it that 2K still reigns? It's compatible with most digital projectors worldwide. It's efficient for post-production and distribution. Offers a cinematic look without the massive data load of 4K or 8K. Technically, you need a sensor of minimum 8.8 megapixels to record videos in native 4K. Seeing as the average primary camera resolution of smartphones reached 54 megapixels this year, as the major growth came from the entry to mid-rise, more people than ever have access to high-quality video recording. If not 4K, then at least Full HD, 1080p. So if we look at the global economy of content creation, an article in Grand View Research estimated the global digital content creation market size to be worth 32 billion USD in 2024 and up to 69 billion by 2030. Factors being mentioned are the adoption of AI, investments in IT, and increased adoption of cloud computing. The market includes formats such as textual, graphical, audio, and video. Also included is the publishing and promotion of the content on different platforms. The infrastructure around the content creation machine is also included. Tools, services, cloud software, maintenance, training, consulting, rights, research, permissions, and so on. The video segment dominates the market with the highest revenue and will continue to grow. Users or audience find comfort and solace in consuming video content. User-generated content consumption distracts the minds from stress during difficult periods. If we look at the effects of creative work on health, according to Utah State University, hobbies can also affect mental health positively. Amongst a lot of things that impacts our mental state, spending time on an activity that you enjoy might help, assuming that the hobby is meaningful and enjoyable. Benefits noted are reduced stress, positive mood, improved social connection, decreased depression and anxiety. If physical, also reduced blood pressure and a lower heart rate. If outside, also improved focus and overall well-being. Some common roadblocks are time and energy. A study published in Nature Medicine found correlations between hobby engagement among older population and fewer depressive symptoms, higher levels of self-reported health, happiness, and life satisfaction. Another study published in Psychotherapy and Psychosomatics referred to the claims that uptake of new hobbies in groups or societies that involve making music, drawing, handicrafts such as sewing, carpentry, collecting, or model making provide distraction, novelty, cognitive stimulation, belongingness, as well as enhancing coping skills, agency, and provide social support, thus improving mental health. Adding to that, hobbies provide sensual engagement, self-expression, creativity, and relaxation. If we look at key results and implications, so there are a lot of linked positives to engage in a hobby. This does not apply if you are doing it to support yourself financially in these times though, unless and until you actually manage to be financially independent, as that stress is universally affecting the majority of people and making us exhausted and depressed. Some personal stories. I dabbled in drawing as a kid with an interest in fantasy art, came second place in a competition once. Writing major in high school, I had an internship in the regional newspaper writing articles. At that same time, we had a family-owned printing company that I helped out with graphical design, printing, and running a business. And now, of course, the Allmeer company with everything that comes with it. The difference today is that accessibility has made it easier than ever before for anyone to create content and distribute it, with the difficulty being the fact that there is more content produced in 1 year than I imagine was produced during the 90s globally. Don't quote me on that. Some limitations. The Allmeer setup we're gonna go through is not budget friendly, but a proof of concept of what can be achieved with our pocket computers. The idea is to have this setup work around mobile productions, building upon the smartphone capabilities. At Allmeer, we use equipment that is accessible to anyone in this modern age. Combined with consumer-grade software, we have everything needed to script, shoot, edit, and publish long-form video content, short-form video content, write articles and forum posts on both our social media as well as our own website. The setup used is in no way a budget version, looking at it as someone who is just starting out, but more on the experimental side, as we like to test different rigs and equipment. But we are still not anywhere near big channels or corporations or other professionals equipment-wise or knowledge-wise. Hopefully we can bridge the gap for enthusiasts who want to begin being serious in their creative journey. The equipment list we will go through is in somewhat of an order in which it should be acquired in. Additionally, software and hardware will be separated as they are different aspects of the production process, though equally important. So it all starts with your smartphone. Our pocket rockets have evolved so much since the dumb phone era that they would be unrecognizable and appear alien for a time traveler from the 90s. Mostly due to the internals though, as the designs were wilder up until the slab design of today. And more exciting in my opinion, but maybe it's my age showing. In our use case, we are recording our video with the Sony Xperia flagship line right now, especially the 1 Mark V. Apart from recording in HLG, it allows us manual controls in the native app and gives us a headphone jack to record scratch audio. Another feature that makes it possible to use this model hooked up with all the peripherals is the fact that it is possible to lock the screen from touches when the phone is recording. This is crucial as it allows us to put the cooler on the front screen to cool it down. Another heat managing function is the ability to connect a Sony camera controller that puts the phone in high temperature mode. This extends the heat tolerance level. These functions make this choice of smartphone really optimal to us. You will be able to see the rig and might get an understanding on why it is important for recording HLG 10-bit 420 color content for at least 15 minutes uninterrupted. The only limit right now would be battery life of the phone, as we also have a 1 terabyte SD card inside. For filming B-roll or videos of the complete rig, we use the iPhone 11 with the Blackmagic camera app. This choice is mainly due to what is available. Whatever shortcomings this phone has in the hardware can be somewhat compensated with third-party software. The app lets us shoot manually, although only 8-bit color SDR. To rig the smartphone out, you need some type of cage or holder or case. There are a lot of brands that lock you to their specifications and limits the things you would want to use. Maybe they have a particular lens mount, their lenses may not have filter threads, or everything is proprietary and lacks customizability. The only brand that we found gave us the freedom to choose is Beastgrip. This cage has a 37mm thread for lenses or rings. It lets you adapt it to fit almost any phones, no matter what brand. It also is adaptable to many handles and anything that would use a cold shoe mount. Another holder/mount is our teleprompter used when we are using an external lens, as it allows us to adapt it with step-up rings. This lets us read our scripts that we use our iPhone 11 with the Bluetooth controller and teleprompter software to handle. In the case that we don't use an additional lens, we can use a simple teleprompter for direct attachment to the phone, again with the iPhone 11 as the text scroller. Sound is mostly agreed to be a bit more important than the actual image quality, as our tolerance to bad sound is lower. To get clean audio and the ability to sync it in post, we use external mics, recorders, and stands. For external boomed audio, we use the Sennheiser MKE 400 that is run with batteries and connected to our field recorder. This makes it powerful while not needing phantom power and can be run with a 3.5mm connector. This audio file is synchronized with the video file and then cleaned up using voice isolation. To record our scratch audio for syncing in post, our cheap Boya is enough, directly attached to the 3.5mm jack on the phone. Without this, the cage and lenses and other stuff obstructing the phone microphone would make the sound unusable. Our field recorder boomed over us is the recorder with the 32-bit float capability. Great audio on a budget and makes it super easy to clean up the dialogue in post. We also have a monopod used for booming the mic over us. Really easy to operate. We have a microphone holder for the monopod, self-explanatory. Obviously, you need C-stand, light stands, and a grip for the holder. Next to the sound, the light is more important than the actual camera. For shaping an image, the versatility is greater by having different lights than having spent that money on just a camera body and lens. Our key light is the Godox SL 100x, great versatility and strength. For our rim light, we use the Litemons LP600R panel, really easy to use. And for our backlight, we mainly use the Nanlite PAVOTUBE II 6C. The battery drains when powered off. Aside from that, we really like it and we are having a blast testing the different background colors. Another backlight that serves the same use cases is the Ulanzi eye light. A bit shorter, otherwise the same and even better as it does not have battery drain. And also the tripod for the backlight. Easy to set up and forget about. More expensive tripods are better for recording smooth movement. Static shots benefit from sturdy ones and not necessarily smooth panning. This Benro one is good enough for our needs, them being studio talking heads. If you want to have or can't have a designed background due to space constraints, one easy way to make the boring wall more professional or interesting is by using a backdrop. A background kit helps you rig the background. There are also different colors and materials available. To further experiment with the image as a complement to manual camera settings, we can attach external lenses and filters. As smartphones are limited by the quality of their built-in cameras on the different focal ranges, there is a point in using the main sensor for this, as it is the best quality. There are smartphone-specific lenses built by different manufacturers of different qualities. Some use proprietary mounting systems. There is a way to use DSLR camera lenses that we like to experiment with. But first with the smartphone lenses. The Beastgrip Pro series 1.7x. One of the smartphone lenses from Beastgrip is the Telephoto one. As the main quality of most smartphone is the wide one, not the Telephoto or the ultra wide, of around 24mm focal length, we wanted to squeeze the image a bit. We haven't noticed too much help with depth of field, but that was never the intention. We like the image shaped by this lens. Now, to use DSLR lenses, we use the Beastgrip depth of field adapter. This gives us added focus on the subject on medium distance. Though it has its quirks and needs practice to master, it is really fun to experiment with. Many third-party apps actually have an image flip function, as this adapter flips the image. We just flip it back in post. Also, the adapter needs to be used with the manual focus. The lens we use together with the adapter right now is the Carl Zeiss 50mm f1.4 Planar T. We really like the focal length and the image of this lens. We are still learning how to use this setup. If we would shoot in bright conditions where we can control the lights, we use ND filters. We have one circular variable and one square for use with a softbox. The moment circular variable ND filter works really well with the telephoto lens or with step-up rings for use with only the smartphone camera lens. The SmallRig 2-stop square ND filter is unintrusive inside the softbox and of really high quality. It is fixed and not variable though. Other accessories that make it possible to shape the image, though it should never be of higher priority than the actual story, are an external monitor, softbox, follow focus, cooler, gimbal, USB hub, and external battery to run the accessories. The external monitor is used to check the composition of the talking heads. It is also used to dial in the focus. When filming other types of scenes, it works as a better monitoring tool than the smartphone screen, especially in bright light. Connecting it to the smartphone is done with the USB-C to HDMI cable. Another use case is as a color accurate monitor for color correcting in DaVinci Resolve together with the Ultra Studio Monitor 3G. Well worth the money. To extend the Xperia 1 Mark V's heat tolerance, toggle manual and autofocus, and start and stop recording, the Sony remote is indispensable. A matte box for exterior shots in which you can mount filters is one of the later upgrades you should focus on. More urgent, if using the depth of field adapter, is a follow focus kit. This one suits us as it is wireless and lets us stand a bit from the camera while dialing in the focus. As the native camera app on the Sony phone lets you lock the screen when recording, it is possible to use a smartphone cooler meant to cool the back of the phone, but on the front screen. Powering it through the external battery on this list makes it circumvent any heating issues thrown at it. Overheating is no longer an issue. For shots that need stabilization, a good gimbal is a good investment. Just make sure that you have a real need for it. Otherwise, it should be bought after getting the more prioritized gear on this list. The USB adapter hooked up to the external battery makes it possible to run the external monitor and the cooler while also powering the follow focus, and still have two USB-A contacts available for other stuff. This battery can be charged with a micro USB or USB-C cable. It has a USB-A port for connecting everything but the monitor through the USB hub. The battery is hooked on the back of the monitor to power it. It also has a handy LCD screen that shows battery charge. To the editing equipment, a crucial part of video making is the editing of the footage. The editing process creates a lot of possibilities regarding what the recorded image can look like. It is not magical though, as what is actually captured limits what is possible to achieve in post. Things such as set design, composition, lighting, sound, acting, movement, and technical specifications of the camera might hinder you in post if not planned for before recording the footage. Our main editing unit is the Mac Mini from 2018, mainly due to it having more than one Thunderbolt 3 connection. One going to the eGPU, which runs the screens, and one connecting the Ultra Studio Monitor 3G, connecting the reference monitor for color correction. It does not hurt that it has 32 GB of RAM either. The Samsung Galaxy Book 2 Pro has a nice HDR capable screen and works for editing by connecting it to the eGPU. The graphics card is one of the limitations by using Mac with a eGPU. There are not too many more powerful graphic cards that are compatible with Mac and the eGPU enclosure. The Razer Core X uses Thunderbolt 3, connects one random screen and one HDR capable screen to whatever computer is being used for editing at the moment. There is a new model being released soon with the Thunderbolt 5, opening up a lot of power for laptops and stationary computers that don't have enough graphical use internally. The random screen can be whatever, as it works as a second monitor for editing and is reserved for the graphics user interface of the editing software. The ProArt is HDR capable, as the viewers are switched to HDR in the setting of DaVinci Resolve. Not 1000 nits, but good enough. The Ultra Studio monitor helps bypass the operative system and graphic card to show more accurate colors connected to the Atomos Shinobi GO. For cutting the footage, the speed editor is vital. Awesome buy. If we look at the software, the camera app, free or paid, the camera hardware is only as good as its software. We live in the golden age of consumer accessible technology. Either Android or iOS gives you alternatives as a creative. The Sony native app in the One Mark V, not the same as the Mark 6 and 7, mind you, gives all the options needed to manually or automatically handle your camera. It lets us set the white balance with the gray card, plug in an external mic, record HDR content, and as stated previously, lock the screen when shooting. Also connects to our remote. That model is exclusive for Sony though. For the iPhone, the Blackmagic camera app serves a similar purpose and opens up the phone for our use. For the editing software, it is important for us to skip the subscription fees, have good usability with peripherals, and help us correct color and isolate the voice. DaVinci has so many good tools, and we will be able to grow our coloring and editing skills for a long time. The studio version comes with a lot of improvements, making it worth the price, especially as the license comes with the speed editor. Right now, we're trying out the HDR workflow. For editing on the go, we are trying out the LumaFusion app for Android, though it is still limited compared to the iOS one and lacks voice isolation for now. For everything graphics-wise, such as thumbnails, article graphics, logotypes, and AI image generation, Adobe Suite is being used. We're looking for replacements at the moment. Adobe Express is good for all our graphics needs. We started out with Photoshop though, and might use it in fringe cases, otherwise we use Express. The sound design, voice clarity, and scoring of a scene need good tools as well. The voice isolation function has been crucial since day one. No matter how crappy the image looks, the sound has been prioritized from the beginning. A NUX NTK61 is used to work with scene scoring in Cubase going forward. We have not looked at using royalty-free assets yet, but understand their role in creating high-quality video without breaking the bank. The most important part of any video is the script. Though mentioned last, it is the dullest part for tech nerds like us. Microsoft Office, Word, good Word templates for creating scripts for long-form and short-form content has been a great tool to have developed. The outline of the script always begins in a OneNote template where we note down everything in detail before transferring it to the Word template. When researching our topics, we use Microsoft Copilot as it searches the internet and provides sources of information. When the script is done, the video is recorded and published. Claude AI helps us rewrite the script in an article format that is then published to our socials as well. Some limitations. This list is mostly geared toward talking heads. Other order of priority if you have other specific needs. Some advice on what to practice and what to learn to improve and where to start. Practice lighting composition for talking head fundamentals. Camera settings to control. Frame rate, HDR or SDR. White balance, manual or automatic focus. Exposure triangle, except aperture if you're doing it on mobile. ISO, shutter speed. Sound settings, stereo, lav, boom, scratch, 32-bit float, voice isolation, Foley sounds, scoring. For shooting workflows, setups and rigging, white balance, focus, lights, sound. For editing workflow, transferring files, settings for editing, formats, export settings. How do we use the equipment, software, and the processes we have talked about? Let's take it step by step using the Allmeer way. Script is king. Make templates to use in OneNote and Word. Rough outline in OneNote. Research with Copilot. Finish the script in Word. Use Claude AI to rewrite the finished script to also fit a short form video, less than 1 minute. Add the text at the end of the script. Sony smartphone settings. Set your smartphone to the HDR HLG setting, 25 or 24 frames per second using the 24mm lens. Leave the resolution to 4K. Turn off the stabilization as we will use a tripod. Turn on markers for composition. Turn the auto setting off to get access to manual settings. Set up the white balance by using the gray card. Shutter speed should be double the frame rate. Put the phone in its cage and connect the depth of field adapter. Lens, follow focus, external monitor, battery, external mic, teleprompter. Don't forget to zoom the image a couple of millimeters to cover the vignetting on the sides. Use the external monitor to check the lights when setting them up. Start the teleprompter app, load up the script, connect the Bluetooth controller and stand by until everything is rigged up. Set up the backdrop and set up the lights until you are satisfied with the lighting. When the 3 lights are set up, key, rim and back light, set the ISO on the smartphone. Use the histogram. Rig up the boom mic and connect it to the field recorder. Correct input and standby. Connect the USB hub to the battery. Connect the camera Bluetooth controller and hook up the cooler after starting the recording and locking the screen. Stand in front of the camera, show the gray card, set the focus and start the rolling text. Don't forget to shoot the short form script at the end of the video. When finished shooting, transfer the smartphone video and field recorder sound file to your computer. Connect the external monitor to the Ultra Studio Monitor 3G. Start DaVinci Resolve. Set up the project for HDR editing in settings under Color Management. Color science should be DaVinci YRGB Color Managed. Color processing mode should be HDR DaVinci Wide Gamut Intermediate. Use separate color space and gamma. Output color space should be Rec 2020 and Rec 2100 HLG theme. HDR mastering is for 1000 nits. Import the files, set the audio file to stereo, sync video and sound file. Create proxies of the file, import it to the timeline. Set the file to voice isolation inside the Fairlight page. Turn up the sound volume to the right level. Set the white balance in the color page with help of the shot of the gray card. Create 3 nodes in the color page. Color transform the first and the last node. Manage the color in DaVinci Wide Gamut and DaVinci Intermediate. Input and output we use are Rec 2020 and Rec 2100 HLG theme. Color correct in the middle node. We set gamma of the node to linear, L-mix to 0, pivot to 0.335. Correction is set with gain. Cut the video in the cut page using the speed editor. Edit graphics and other effects in the edit and fusion page. Exporting settings are format, QuickTime or MP4, codec H.265, embed the HDR10 metadata, embed HDR Vivid metadata. HDR BT 2020, gamma HLG 1000 nits, encoding profile main 10. Grab a still. Save it as a power grade. Do the same steps but with the short form script recorded at the end of the video in vertical resolution. Export it with the same settings. Edit thumbnail in Adobe Express, thumbnail and graphics. Rewrite the script with the help of Claude AI to fit a blog or an article, and so on. Publish your masterpieces. Some conclusions. Start learning with what you have. Add to the equipment as your abilities grow and your finances allow. Plan ahead. Leave room for reshuffling according to needs. Some final thoughts. Improve the quality continuously. There need to be growth with every video. Your tech will not hold you back initially, merely your skill and creativity. We will go more into detail of the different steps as we progress in this playlist. Stay tuned. If you want to support us, you can do it either by subscribing to the Allmeer app or joining our community forum. Links are in the description. Otherwise, liking this video and subscribing to this channel also helps us out a bunch. Stay safe. Until next time.